Hello, folks. I am John Najarian, and this is 3 at 3. As you already know, because you're here, 3 at 3 occurs every day at about 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Turns out I think I'll be on the overtime show with Scott Wapner as well today. But as far as this is the only time you're getting unusual option activity from me today. And this unusual option activity is calls bought on the offer or puts bought on the offer. Either of those tell us that we're looking for upside or downside if it's puts in the short term. And let's get started. Let's get started with this one because my friend Scott Redler over at Red Dog T3 was nice enough to shoot us a little note about AMD, which made a huge pop today. And we talked about it, of course, along with that Nike trade on Monday. Both of them, big profits. In fact, if you just made those two trades this week, you could probably, depending how big you traded them, you could probably take the rest of the month off. That's AMD. As you see it traded up over 120 today. That snapshot you're looking at there was from just before Eastern time, when it was 120 or 128, pretty damn close to 120. And especially if you had at the money calls, not just out of money. Then, of course, Mosaic. I've been pounding the table for this one since it had a 5 handle, as in 50. It has moved up very nicely. The reasoning behind this one was, of course, that we had strong activity because of the interest in nutrients, fertilizer products, and so forth, because Russia and Ukraine produce so much of that. And because, again, either war or sanctions, not getting as much of it, certainly, and thus what's out there is in huge demand. So look at that, all the way to 71.38 today. Was that a washout? It might have been, at least in the short term. Long term, no. Long term, we keep going. But just like with crude oil, although not nearly as many people trade fertilizers as crude oil, even though, of course, it's used all over the world. Crop yield is important. You don't get as much yield out of the crops without fertilizer. That means food prices do this. You've probably already experienced that. And the fact that it pulled back $3 tells me that was a squeeze that carried us to 71.38. And that's why I was exiting my positions up there. I'm not completely out of fertilizer trades, but I am out of Mosaic at this point. If it reloads, goes further to the downside, I will buy more call spreads further out in time, just as I did with energy. Both of those trades should work out nicely. The energy certainly did after that pullback. Here's Iovance. Again, yesterday I was giving some no-name trader a hard time about giving me a hard time because he said, oh, you're just running a pump and dump. So I guess today's 4.4% rally, part of that same pump and dump. I haven't said one word about it today, but we saw the unusual activity yesterday, jumped on it, already bearing nice profits in this one. IOVA, Iovance Biotherapeutics, some cancer stuff. Hopefully, knock on wood for all of us, hopefully they are very successful with what they're doing for cancer. And crypto conversations. If you've always wanted to know about NFTs, well, you've come to the right place, my friends, because we're going to be doing some great NFT work. Not only are we launching NFTs, we helped launch the most successful private offering of an NFT. That was the Bungie project. Myself and my team helped launch that. That brought in $16.2 million in under 3.5 hours. Yeah. Bungie, of course, is Brendan Murphy. He is a recognized artist with huge followings. Venus, Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic, I believe LeBron James, all have sculptures and or paintings by him. And we put them into the NFT world. We're about to do even bigger things now. So you got to stay tuned. You want to know all about NFTs? Join me for Crypto Convo. That'll be going up, I think, next week, the Crypto Convo about NFTs. And then I'll be out in LA for NFT LA. And then taking the jet back to Miami. Doing cross country. Getting back to Miami for NFT Miami on April 1st. So jetting around a lot about NFTs. Why do you think? Because there's a lot of possibilities with NFTs. Snoop Dogg will be there. Mark Cuban will be there. Sir Mix-a-Lot will be there. Hopefully we get Mila Kunis, several other people. I've already reached out to Cardone and Steve Aoki. So we'll see. I think we'll have some pretty damn interesting NFT conversations next week. TECK Resources, TECK, bullish call buying stock. You see it right there. The stock just over $40, $40.50, 3,500 of the May, 41 calls, but. So what does this mean? 2 months out into the future. We're at March right now, of course. So April, May, 2 months into the future, right at the money. They're buying these calls in TECK Resources, TECK. Next one, Southwest Energy, SWN. Wow, is this all about energy? You're getting pretty smart if you figure that out, folks. SWN, this one, they're buying the April 6 calls. That is literally the just in the money call for April. How many did they buy? Well, as you see there, they bought 5,200. That's 500,000 share equivalent at the 6th strike in April. So these options expire, obviously, 3rd Friday in April. The first Friday is the 1st. So the 3rd Friday will be the 14th. That's when these expire. Roughly 3.5 weeks from right now. Bang. Third and final of today's 3 at 3 is Marquetta. Pete talked about it. I told you about it when we cited it last week, and it was the $10.60 stock, I think. Now it's moving through 12, and they're buying the May 1250s. 10,000 of those. What is that? That's 1 million share equivalent. 1 million share equivalent, because every option's for 100 shares of stock. So you multiply 100 shares times 10,000. That's your million. 1 million shares is 1250. Are you interested? I am. I love when people buy big blocks of stuff like this. So that is the third of today's 3 at 3. Make sure you check it out. And as always, if you need to learn more before you commit your hard-earned cash, and I would say you really should, learn more before you trade. Go to marketrebellion.com/get started. That's marketrebellion.com/get started. Hey, folks, we can be like the best instructor you ever had because we can get you excited about it. And we can caution you about making sure you know what you think you know before you commit your cash to that trade. If you want to do that, make sure you go to marketrebellion.com/get started because we have beginning, intermediate, advanced strategies for stock, options, and cryptos. We also have coaches, meaning a bunch of the traders that we had on the trading floor that now coach people to make sure on an individual level that these people understand what they need to understand. Find out all about it. Go to marketrebellion.com/get started. For those of you who tune into overtime today, I'll be on there with Scott Wapner at about, I think, 4:35 Eastern time today. Bang! Have a good one, folks.